Few women in the Philippines dare to try to strike on their own and put up their own enterprises after stints in government and the private sector. But not Cecilia Sanchez. In 1975, she put up Leverage International Consultants, Inc., a think tank and a convention and seminar organizer in the Philippines and the rest of ASEAN region. Leverage International's areas of expertise include strategic planning, market surveys, project and investment promotion, export market development, and trade fairs and international conferences. In the recent years, Leverage has been behind such groundbreaking conferences as Protect, which discusses issues on security and all kinds of threats, ASEAN Energy Business Forum, Power Trends, and Natural Gas. ASEAN is the world's most dynamic region outside of China, and it's only natural that these topics and trends draw keen interest and attention. Before Leverage International, Cecilia Sanchez was the director of the Research and Planning Department of the Board of Investments. She also worked as Associate General Manager of an investment bank. At Leverage International, she has been responsible for the implementation of projects for the World Bank, the ADB, USAID, UNIDO, ILO, and CEDA. She organized the World Trade Center Metro Manila, an affiliate of World Trade Centers Association in New York, and was its managing director from 1996 to 2004. In the private sector, Cecilia has worked with European, American, ASEAN, Japanese, and other Asian companies to assess the market and establish operations in the Philippines. She also actively works with several of the foreign embassies in Manila. In the public sector, she has worked on sectoral and multi-year development plans, social-oriented development projects, and investment promotions programs in support of industrial development for the government. Tonight, we have for our guest, Cecilia Sanchez, CEO of Leverage International. She will discuss trends in security, energy, and other hot topics. Welcome to BizNews. I'm Elizabeth Lee, together with Tony Lopez.
Good evening, Beth.
Tonight we have for our guest the CEO of Leverage International, Inc., Cecilia Sanchez. Thank you for being on our show. Good evening, Cecilia.
Welcome.
Good evening.
And welcome. Now tell us a little bit about Leverage International. You're into marketing and strategic consulting, conferences, seminars.
Well, basically we started as a management consulting firm. With the objective of bringing in foreign investors into the country. So we started with attracting foreign investors, helping them set up. And those were during the days when we were putting up a lot of regional headquarters, representative companies of foreign companies, and many foreign companies. Then, of course, because of the different developments that happened later on, consulting went on the downside. So we had to go into consulting for the international lending institutions like the World Bank, USAID, and during those days, that gave us also the opportunity to have a more macro look at the economy and what we're really needed by the economy.
Now you have a slew of clients that you helped. Can you name some of these clients and its specific industries? Because what you do is actually important because you bring in investments here in the Philippines.
Well, I cannot tell you the present clients because we're still looking at the market.
Yeah.
Yes.
But some of the ones who were here before were the regional headquarters of the multinational banks. And they're all out. They have gone to Singapore now, unfortunately. We have a lot of them also went into manufacturing during those days, but some of them have also gone to other countries.
The industries you cover, Ceci, are?
Well, mostly manufacturing in the beginning.
Manufacturing.
It was really mostly
would be semiconductors?
Yeah, during those days, it was mostly manufacturing. It was only recently that we have been concentrating on the services industry where we had the BPOs. Now, these companies do not require consultants anymore because when
they
they
don't
come
take consultants anymore. Why?
Well, they know already what to do when they come here. Their specific objective is just to be able to put up their operations here. Now, But now I'm happy to say that we are getting more interest again from a lot of foreign companies. And I cannot divulge the name of the company, but there is one that is looking into a very big investment opportunity in the agro-based
Agro-based.
And
Why the interest? Why is the Philippines now on the radar of investors again?
Well, I think the business climate is more, the perception as far as the Philippines is concerned is it should be easier to put up operations here.
Yeah.
And also the market is growing because we have a rising middle class, despite the fact that we're talking about poverty. But I think there has been improvement in the
And also there's ASEAN integration, no? Which expands the market to 600 million from 100 million.
The rating companies have rated us higher.
Yeah.
So that is a big boost.
You are now investment grade, no?
So our investment rate is higher. And we're in preparation for AEC also.
Yeah.
So that is also one thing. And manufacturing also is one area where some expansions
And
are being
in that
planned.
kind of scenario, how competitive are your services? Why would they go to you? Well, you have a long experience in government and the private sector.
Well,
you were director for research of the Board of Investments, no?
Well, before, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we do not cater to so many. We are very selective in the sense, as my competitor was saying, we are like a boutique and they are a supermarket.
Yeah.
But our strength would...
You're a niche consulting company.
But
our
your
strength in
yeah.
that we are able to, because of our exposure before in government and at the same time in the private sector, we're able to look at the opportunities in a wider perspective.
Yeah.
And we can relate to what would happen later on.
Yeah.
And right now, what we do is, we do not relate it only to the developments in the Philippines, but we do take a look at international developments.
Global.
And one of the things that we incorporate now in our studies are what are the trends in the industries abroad.
Abroad.
Because that eventually, whether we like it or not, that will affect. That will have an effect.
That will impact on the Philippines.
So therefore, when we say whether it is an investment opportunity here, we are not looking at the present, we're only looking at the Philippines. We're not looking only at the regional market, but we're taking a look at the technological developments that will eventually affect this.
So for example, in agro, what are some of the trends that you're looking at, not only locally, domestically, but regional and global?
Globally.
So what are some of the trends?
Well, for example, in the area of services, while it's true
services,
that...
what? Banking, ganyan, consulting?
Yeah.
BPO or?
Even BPOs is one. We know that there are other developments in other countries around us where, although we have an advantage right now because of our English language deficiency, there are also a lot of efforts being developed.
They're catching up.
And in some countries, from childhood, they're already training their children to speak English. Maybe this will not happen in the next 5 years.
But China, they develop 100 million English speakers.
Yeah, and they are spending a lot of money for English teachers.
Even their taxi drivers are being taught English for them to cater to tourists.
That's why we don't need to learn their language anymore. Well, also in the area of IT.
IT. How good are we in IT now?
We are very good, but unfortunately, most of our good IT people are being used by other countries.
Yeah, I noticed during your seminar in Protect, many of the finest IT people are now in Singapore and the United States.
That's what we were told, that they are being useful in the other countries.
There was this professor from UP, IT professor. She's a scientist. I think 90% of her students went abroad. That's why she says whenever she visits Singapore, there's always someone to talk to or host her for lunch, dinner, or some social event. Yeah.
That's true, yeah.
So, but with flight of such human capital, especially the ones that are,
Ikaw, Cheche, you're a very good human capital, di ba? You are a mathematician, Saint Isco, master's degree in University of Michigan, PhD candidate in mathematics. Why didn't you go abroad?
I prefer to stay here.
To stay here.
Because here you are relevant. I can
annual.
feel that whatever I do in my own little way
that's
has a
right.
contribution.
That's right.
But
There's
you know
nothing
that
like
everybody
Philippines.
cannot think that way, no?
Yeah,
So, but I don't feel too bad also about a lot of these people who are abroad, because hopefully
They're coming
They
back.
will
one
come
day
back.
when they come back,
Yeah.
they will be coming in with higher technological
Yeah.
know-how, and
Yeah.
they will be able to uplift
Yeah.
the level of
Do you
technology.
think that's a problem with a lot of the human capital, intelligent human capital being used abroad? How about enticing the investors to come in here and actually invest in the Philippines? We need those intelligent human capital.
We need more it's not incentives, but we need to be able to be more attractive to them.
Attractive? How?
I think
Kasi usual attractions ng Philippines is strategic location, natural resources, then managerial pool, trainable manpower. Ano.
the ease of doing business is a very
Ease
critical
of doing
factor.
business is a problem. Could be a problem. Yeah.
But and something that has been eliminated recently is the perception,
Yeah, percent.
which has been improved.
But you said the ease of doing business is a problem?
Yes,
Is it-
and the perception of corruption before, which has been improved now. And I think that's one of the factors why we are
Why that
getting more
comes.
interest right now. And hopefully that should continue.
All right, we're going to cut to a short break. You're watching BizNews. We'll be right back. Welcome back. So, Chechi, let's talk about the Protect conference and forum that was
That's the
recently held.
ninth in a series, no?
Yeah.
Ninth in a series.
And that's doing business amidst
Youth threats.
new
threats, all kinds of threats.
All
Yeah.
kinds of threats. What are some of the new threats that we are
Well,
facing?
actually, when we started that was after the 9/11 terrorist attack.
So
of New
physical
York.
security ang
So it was
concept.
more on the critical infrastructures. The reason we thought of Protect was that, well, it is the thought that government should be protecting the ownership of most of the critical infrastructures are actually in the hands of the private sector. So we thought we should have a partnership between government and the private sector.
Yeah.
And government we approached government and they were willing to partner with us in that sense to promote that kind of a partnership. So we were really concentrating on the anti-terrorism at that time. Then, however, after a few years, then came the damn threat in the world economy.
Yeah, yeah.
So that became a big threat. And there was the
Recession.
yeah.
Recession.
So
Global
we
recession.
concentrated on the effects of the global downtrend. And then after that came the natural disasters.
Climate change. Yeah.
And so therefore the climate change, and we were getting all these disasters. And the same kind of happening or destruction can be caused by natural disasters as with human-made disasters like terrorism. So we thought there was no difference and we should be treating them in the same way. Then came the threats of IT, which became even more complex.
Yeah, IT.
Because now you're talking
Cybercrime.
of IT, you're talking of cybercrime,
Hacking.
you're talking of social media,
Yeah.
Yes.
which has complicated a lot of
Yes.
things. And this is now one of the focus of the Protect conference. And Tony was there during the last conference, and I think we covered quite a wide range of
That
that.
was the most universal approach to security I have ever attended for a seminar.
So, what is the most interesting security
what
risk?
did you find the most
Security risk for,
cybercrime,
yeah.
cybercrime, and climate change. And of course, there are the usual anti-terrorism, the criminality.
So, for cybercrime, if
Cybercrime, I think there was not much adequate response to how to cope with cybercrime, no?
It was too
because it's a
technical.
very complex subject.
There were not too many questions because it was we were talking about the cloud, no?
iCloud, yung storing data up in...
But see, that means that only with all these complicated questions, that means it really is important. How do we protect ourselves from the cloud?
And the problem also, the speakers, they did not want to reveal their trade secrets, di ba? I know how to approach cybercrime, but you have to...
Well, how about tips? How about tips?
Just like tips, the usual tips, passwords, mga passwords, always check your passwords, always have a backup, double, triple, multiple redundancies to protect yourself. And you have to be on top of the situation every time because there's always a new development. You know. Kasi ngayon, ang cybercrime, sovereign crime. You know?
Yeah.
Oo. China attacking the Pentagon through the cyberspace. The Internal Revenue Service of the United States attacking private files of critics. So maraming nuances. And that makes her expertise and her service very good.
How often do you have the
every
Protect
year, no?
conference? Once a year. But this needs to be fleshed out even more.
Then together with the seminars and speeches is the exhibit, which is also I think 50% of the module.
So what are some of the
all kinds of tools,
equipment?
Yeah, all kinds of tools.
Like what? What was
spyware, surveillance.
Yeah. How to detect what is fake, what is not fake.
Fraud detection.
Those are the things that are...
So mga banks, the NISA was represented there, Armed Forces of the Philippines, Philippine National Police, and of course the security experts.
So name a really cool gadget that was showcased there.
Then they also discussed the MH370 flight, Malaysian. So how do you protect yourself as a passenger? What do you do if you were attacked in such a situation?
How?
Actually, you just pray to God. Kasi babagsak aeroplano sa middle of the Indian Ocean eh. So how do you protect yourself? Just pray to God kasi He must admit you in heaven. Mami, ma-reject ka. The double rejection ka.
They took a look at the lapses that were there.
Security lapses.
The security lapses.
So you have to check the integrity of the document, passport, ticket, the integrity of the screening. Because dalawang Iranians ba yun?
Yeah, there were two.
Passed through immigration and security with fake passports.
I'm a passenger, no hope?
I'm
a passenger.
There'll be more difficulty for you kasi double, triple screening.
And yet what they were saying was, despite the security being practiced, one agency that takes care, for example, immigration takes care of the passport, but another head or group of another agency takes care of the coming in, the security.
That's cargo.
But they do not coordinate.
They don't talk to each other.
So there is no way. When
then the airline itself must monitor its pilots pala. Kasi pag nasira ulo ng pilot, he can sink the plane. Wala kang laban. Umihi yung co-pilot niya, tinay-cover niya, patay. No matter how prepared you are at ticketing, checking in, and boarding, pag sira ulo pa ng pilot, wala kang kalaban-laban.
But one message I got there was profiling is important.
Profiling.
When it comes to security. Beyond all the equipment and all of that. But when you talk of profiling, that means a coordination of everybody involved in security.
Coordination and cooperation.
But that also involves discrimination.
And data sharing.
All these. It's also very
hot.
hot.
Mag-iingat ka din sa profiling kasi baka maging racial.
Discrimination.
O kaya economic. Kasi porke nakachinelas, hindi mo sabi mo, mukha ba siyang magnanakaw o terrorist.
Yun nga yung mga mayaman
problema. Kasi mga ordinary Chinese, they are among the biggest shoppers at Louis Vuitton in Paris. Pero nakasinyalas lang sila. 40% of the clients of Louis Vuitton in Paris are Chinese.
So, what are some of the learnings, especially for this Protect, for example, for IT, what are some of the learnings that you can share?
I think we have to keep ourselves updated on what's happening and what are the available tools.
Protect your data, back up your data. You always guard your computer, your laptop.
And they were saying, if you buy that's what I heard, if you buy a computer with an unlicensed program, you don't know that it's
Very
already,
susceptible ka sa
maybe there's already something
spam,
there that is going to be
saka virus.
yeah.
So
Keeping
the
track
rule
of
is
all the
buy genuine from Apple, Microsoft, ganon. And don't do too much Facebook. Say you lose your private life.
That's true. But the other thing with social
Kasi
media,
biyahe ka ng biyahe. Ano matawag doon? Instagram ka ng Instagram. Mamaya may sumusunod pala siya, nakaka-build up siya ng profile.
That's true.
Kasi pag you create a Facebook account, they ask for your address, your name, your relatives, contact number, Gmail, pati passport minsan.
and then they begin to know
So
what
you
you are
become
doing.
their property. No?
They keep track of what you are doing, where you are going, what you...
Ganun din sa cellphone. Pag binigay mo lahat ng data mo, ibebenta sa mga real estate brokers, bank loan officers, credit card investigators. Wala ka ng buhay. Gigisingin ka sa madaling araw ng texting, offering a loan or texting the latest in condo unit sale. Ganun.
And I think we're number one when it comes to Facebook.
Facebook.
And texting.
We are the texting capital and also the Facebook.
Of the world. Yeah. All right, we're going to
We
cut.
have more people. We have more cell phones than the number of people in the Philippines.
All right, we're going to cut this short break. You're watching BizNews. We'll be right back.
Cecilia, while you said something very important, we are back in the radar of investors, no? Because of, say, the focus on good governance, the credit rating upgrade, because we are now investment grade by the 4 major credit rating agencies, no? Moody's, Fitch, Standard & Poor's, and Japan Credit Bureau. So, what do you advise would-be investors or current investors in the Philippines?
This is the time to come in.
Time to come in, time to invest more.
Yeah.
The opportunities are tremendous. No? Because you said there's a market of 100 million, that's the 12th largest in the world. Income
Plus
is
the
rising.
AEC.
We are now a very big middle income. No? Among ASEAN countries, we have one of the biggest middle income segments. No?
And our growth is highest among the ASEAN.
In fact, at $3,000 per capita, all of us are middle income. We are probably the largest middle income group in ASEAN. In ASEAN.
And the industries that are coming in are in the services.
Services. We said
Majority
manufacturing.
services.
Manufacturing is slowly. But I see expansions in the manufacturing industry.
And also, a good area is agro, no? Because there will be a shortage of food and water.
Yeah.
No? Energy, hindi masyado kasi of recent discoveries and the fracking of oil with water.
But that is one of our problems for investors.
Ganun.
The very
Energy.
high cost of electricity.
It's a concern for them.
Yeah.
Now, you discuss also energy security, also the trends for alternative energy.
On energy. What were the recent findings and trends?
Yeah.
Well, in the area of energy, there has been a very, very great focus on developing renewable energy.
Renewable.
However, under the present situation where we need the power plants right now,
Yes.
we cannot
Maski
wait.
coal pwede na,
We
no?
cannot wait that long. That's why we are putting up plants right now and trying to make up for lost time.
Coal, less than 2
And
years.
coal
You
is
have
being
a
used,
generation
yeah.
plant, no? Coal.
Now, there's a lot of discussion against coal, but personally, I think we have to live with reality that at the moment that is.
Coal is still the best and cheapest and the fastest to go on stream.
But we have hand in hand with that. I think we
Besides
should be
per
developing
capita
our
energy
renewables.
consumption or pollution, we still are below the average of the world, di ba?
Actually, because our industrialization is not very high. We are the victims of pollution.
So we can afford more pollution, di ba?
Well,
You-
we
you
cannot
don't-
say that.
We should not say that.
We cannot say
You
that.
don't drop dead on the street, di ba?
No, we have
In
to work.
Beijing, you cannot get out of your hotel
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the picture, yeah.
without being challenged by pollution.
Yeah,
You have to
that's what
cover
I
your eyes, nose, and ear.
But we have to prepare for that, and we have to work because renewable energy that will require some time to become really commercially feasible.
Do we have investors,
Kasi
Chenchi, that's
renewable
coming in?
energy right now is a slogan, no? In spite of the incentives. Although the Philippines has the most advanced renewable energy legislation and
Because
policy
of-
in the world. But
Well-
it's siguro, swerte na may 5% of total energy installed capacity. Baka wala pa, no?
Hindi naman. If you consider,
And renewable energy does not make economic sense.
At this
You have
point
to
in
provide
time,
a lot
yeah.
of incentives.
at this point
Yeah.
in time,
Because there's no economies of scale.
But I think eventually, like computers before, they were very expensive.
Yeah.
I think with,
Oo nga,
with
no?
more
As you
modern
build up scale,
technologies, yeah.
it becomes more economic.
Then the renewable energy equipment becomes cheaper. So eventually, I think, but that will take some time. So in
Kasi
the
ngayon,
meantime,
there's no tax rebate for me. If I buy a solar panel, lagay ko sa bubong ng bahay ko, walang tax rebate. Unlike in the United States, there's a tax rebate, which makes the solar panel practically free for you.
yeah.
And if you have access, you actually feed
Kasi
the grid.
actually, in terms of energy, non-energy is the most expensive energy. No?
Yeah.
If you don't have electricity in the house for several hours, maski magkano, it's cheap.
Yeah, we
diba?
would pay for anything just to be able to get energy.
Are there
That's the
investors
argument.
that are going to be coming in specifically for alternative
There
energy?
is
There
going
are
to be
some
very
companies.
serious shortages right now. The shortage about 200 megawatts for Luzon, 130 megawatts for Visayas, 300 megawatts for Mindanao. Mindanao, they now have a daily brownout. Tawag nila rotating. O ikaw naman ang brownout, tapos kami, ganon. Rotating.
Because they were relying before on hydro.
Hydro.
Which has, because of the
Nagkaroon ng
climate
drought.
change, now we don't
Yeah.
have water. No? That's what I'm saying, that whatever industry now may be viable may not necessarily viable in the years to come because of what will happen in the
Kasi
future.
reliable ang hydro kasi we have great river systems. And hydro is very cheap to install, to produce, ganon. Pero it's subject to climate changes.
If you have no water, then you have no electricity.
So energy security, what were some of the conclusions that you had?
But I think what we have to do right now is to continue putting up more power plants and at the same
Sa
time
energy,
develop the renewable energy.
You have to face the reality that the shortages will remain for quite some time, no?
But
At
because
least
it
for the
takes
next
years to
5
put
years.
up a power plant.
A power plant takes about 3 years,
You cannot
assuming
just-
you have all the permits, And there are about 100 permits to put up a power plant, di ba? 160 ba? To put up a power plant?
They are talking about, well, there is a suggestion for consolidation of all the requirements. For putting up a
One-stop
power
shop,
plant.
no?
Yeah.
One-stop shop.
Hopefully that would be implemented.
Kasi ang dami mong kausap, pati barangay, Matulog lang na hindi pumasok 2 araw yung barangay. You cannot even start up your power plant. Kasi siyang last portion, Mamaya yung barangay chairman, he organizes an anti-power plant rally. O, di magpapasok ka pa ng mga social worker, utu-utuin mo yung mga yun. Pag napasok ka ng social worker, hihingi ng pera sa iyo yun. Diba? Diba? Kasi madi-display sila, gano'n. O, they will be polluted, mga ganyan. Ang daming ek-ek ngayon sa paggawa ng business sa Philippines, no?
But it's improving.
Does that make your job harder?
Well, that's
Challenging,
that's
saka
challenging.
exciting.
Exciting and
yung
challenging.
kayo.
No, but I see that there is a lot of effort in trying to improve the situation, and I think we just have to be more aggressive in pointing out the difficulties of.
So, napansin
But we
mo,
are
Chechi, ang Philippines lacks branding campaign.
Well, we are
Ako,
not very good
I
in
go to
promoting
Europe.
ourselves.
I go to Europe sometimes. I have never been mistaken for a Filipino. Malaysian, Indonesian, Vietnamese, Chinese, Japanese. Never a Filipino.
Why is
Ba't
that?
ganon? Wala tayong branding, Wala tayong image to the world, who we are. Ganon. Mga Miss Universe natin, puro mukhang Kastila. So wala tayong di ba? Lately lang tayo naglalagay ng mga morena, singkit, saka matangkad. Kala nila, mga ita tayo, di ba? Kulang tayo sa branding image, no?
Branding and promotion because I think we have the notion here that promotion is an expense. Actually, we should be looking at promotion as an investment because that's the way to bring in more investments.
And yet in our cabinet, among our cabinet ministries, tourism is the smallest budget. Dapat siyang one of the biggest kasi sa CNN, isang spot lang, $1 million siguro yan.
But take a look at Indonesia, take a look at Thailand.
Malaysia, Malaysia, truly Asia. That jingle is being sung by a Filipina. It attracts 25 million visitors a year. Ewan ko ngayon, pagbasa ng aeroplano nila, there's an opportunity for the Philippines to take some of this slack.
Remember what happened to Thailand during the time that a lot of companies were getting out? We were not able to catch most of them. Because
they found out that you cannot put all your eggs in one basket, Thailand. So you have to diversify the location of your plants, no? And yet we were not able, kasi nga kulang tayo ng energy, saka ang taas ng presyo.
And promotion, I think, because still many people outside the world do not consider
Many people outside the world do not realize that we are the 12th largest nation on earth, that there are 100 million Filipinos. They think that there are more Singaporeans. In fact, there are only 5 million of them. We are 20 times larger than them. Our economy is larger than Pakistan, Egypt, Turkey, siguro mga majority of the $400 billion economy.
But it's always said that we do not have money for promotions, but I do not see why other countries can afford it.
We do have money.
We have money. I think
we have something that does not cost money, saliva. Ang dami nating opinion makers, newspaper, advertising people, opinion makers, editorialists, saliva. And we use it for the wrong reason and for the wrong subject. Lagi tayong galit sa gobyerno, no?
Well, maybe that's one thing. We do not try to promote our country as a nation together. Like, for example, the airlines, the other companies. Look at Cathay Pacific. Look at Thai International. When they promote, they sell the country. They do not only sell the airline.
So we're going to cut to a short break. We're going to continue this discussion. We'll be right back. You're watching BizNews.
Cheche, we have two major international conferences in the pipeline, no? The World Economic Forum and the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation. No? Big number of delegates, big number of leaders from around the world. No? What are we doing to promote the Philippines leading to these events?
Well, that is the sad thing because we cannot seem to find the budget for promoting before, during, and after. If you will remember, last year it was in Bali. And you could see how Bali was promoted from the beginning of the year up to the end of the year. The government was spending a lot of money on that. Here, we are having a very difficult time. I'm working with some of the networks. I'm working with CNBC. We are having a difficult time trying to put together a program to get them all together. You know, it's expensive when you have a regional and an international network. And this is a big occasion for us to be able to be promoting our country.
That's right.
Now, the thinking of a lot of people is that whether they spend money or not for promotion, it will be covered by the networks. Because now, but you know, that's a different thing.
It will be covered, but it's a matter of slant.
They will be covering, for example, if Obama is there, they will interview Obama. If Pinoy is there, they will interview Pinoy. But they will not be talking about the good things about the Philippines. So we lose that opportunity to talk about the opportunities in our country. And, well, that is very sad. And I hope that this will be realized by, you know, you have to put together the mindset of the private sector and the government together in order to promote the country. And unless we work together as one people.
But can you get from the private sector at least some budget? which will also showcase those sectors.
That's what
And those,
that's
and
what
those
we're trying
companies
to
might
do.
be easier to get it from the private than
We're trying to
from
do
government.
that, but you cannot afford also everything from the private sector because they are also being bombarded with other expenses for the.
The message must be delivered by government that we need this. And I think the private sector is only too willing to help. Like the banking system, I read this morning, it made 144 billion pesos of profits. The banking system, in which there are only very few players. Only 8 major families run the banking system and they made 144 billion profits. Banking pa lang yun, pero pa yung kita nila sa property, sa retailing, other sectors of the economy. Dapat naman tumulong yan. Makano ba yung 144? Magbigay lang sila 1%. Ilan yun? Di 1.4 billion pesos. Pwede na yun, ano?
Well, in fairness to the S.M.E Investments Group, they have been supportive. In fact, we will be able to have some.
Yeah, they have international
campaign
advertising. No?
because they have contributed to
Yeah.
that. But you know, we need strong government support for that because it's only the government that can really, number one, the messages. Because you have to be able to communicate to the world that the government is ready and willing to take you in. The
Government must
opportunities are
provide
there.
direction.
And then
and
the
messaging.
private sector can do the support.
But I thought the government is doing something about that right now. It's just not enough.
Well, talking is different from
Kasi
promoting.
sometimes the government thinks of it as a pure convention, pure meeting, not an opportunity for massive promotional event.
Because whatever you say, the campaign is something that will really, well, I don't know, but I was in Indonesia just recently, and next to the Philippines, it's Philippines and Indonesia that are the most attractive now, and the campaign
Indonesia
of
now,
Indonesia is terrible. It's really very massive.
good.
And you can see that
Very
they are
strong and
getting-
robust ang nila, di
Yeah,
ba?
they're getting
They're
a lot
promoting
of
Indonesia sa $1 trillion economy. And yet Indonesia was in the backwater 15, 20 years ago, di ba?
And yet Indonesia isn't also.
Samantalang literacy nila, 1/2 of our total literacy. Di ba?
We are not too different from Indonesia, but because of the campaign,
galing ng
the
campaign nila.
mindset of people outside.
And they have the same problems as we have. They have the separatist movement. They have a very strong, I should not call left, pero marami din silang mga tribal conflicts and tension.
Sometimes I wonder when you
in
listen
terms
to
of-
international news, do they ever mention the Philippines?
Wala.
Very rarely.
Sometimes nga sa weather, di man lang nilalagay
Yeah,
yung
I
pangalan
take
ng
a look.
Manila.
They don't even put Manila there.
Samantalang nasa gitna siya ng Hong Kong saka Singapore. Di man lang nakalagay Manila. Parang dot lang tayo. It doesn't...
And yet we're one of the fastest growing
We are the 12th
economies.
largest nation on earth.
And fastest growing economy, one of the fastest
Well,
growing
just
economies.
as with our local media, we have to be aggressive with international media.
Local media
also.
masyadong oriented sa mga movie stars. Sino may current boyfriend, sino hindi nagbabra or panty. Mga ganun ba? Dapat ipopromote natin mga superstars, yung mga tycoons natin. Ganyan, di ba? Our scientists. That was one of the main points of that guy as a speaker, no? Si Mr. Noah, yung head ng NOAA, yung undersecretary. Sabi niya, naiinggit siya sa mga artista. Meron silang 10 minutes per newscast. Sila, hindi man lang sila na-mention. These are scientists. May master's degrees, doctorates, and experience, expertise, and point of view that is global and urgent.
Yeah, Dr. Maharia.
Di ba? Si Mahar, di ba?
And
Hindi si
then-
Mahar, the other Mahar.
The reason I invited that faculty member of UP to be a speaker there was, that there were 3 students from UP who got the awards from the
First
the
prize.
first prize in the regional award for the design.
Kaspersky ba yan?
Kaspersky.
Kaspersky
And
Award.
They were able to design a security software. And they got first prize for that.
Kaspersky Award.
It never came out in the press except for a very small news, no? Those things I think
Samantalang
should
isang
be-
artista may bagong boyfriend, talk of the town. Grabe.
nasa front
diba?
page. And I don't know, but I think we need.
How do we change that?
Culturally pala, culturally. I was in UST the other day. We are pala world champion sa choral.
Oh yeah, we are.
World champion.
That's true.
Di nalalaman ng Tapos, kaya lang natin alam, magaling pala tayo kumanta. Because of that guy, let it go, diba? Nanalo siya ng 5 awards, diba? Emmy, Oscar, basta meron tayong natawag na yung 5, if you win the 5 awards, only 12 people have been able to do it, and one of them is a Filipino, husband and wife. Ganun kagaling ang Pinoy, and yet we are not able to project that. Kawawa naman ang Philippines.
Well,
Ginagawa nga lampaso ng mundo.
Well, because also, from my observation, the international networks only get the newspaper, especially the wires. They pick up from the local newspaper. And
Yan
then,
pa
that's
isang
what,
problema natin. Because
so when they take a look at the local papers, they see all the bad things only, they don't
kasi
see
tayo,
the good things.
English speaking ko, no? So, yung mga foreign media, ang daling pulutin ang balita natin. Yung balita natin usually bad news. Crime, di ba? Crime. Di ba? Crime, scandal, corruption, government inefficiency. Saka yan, mga artista na fly by night.
Well, is it because bad news sells?
Hindi naman, because there's no other choice. Okay, asan bang good news mo? Kung ako yung foreign media, ang hirap. Hirap
Hard to
maghanap
get,
ng
no?
bad news eh. Kasi nga, transparent tayo kuno, ang hirap naman kumuha ng data. Ang easily available data, Diba kinukwento nung isang, yung disaster speaker mo? May warning siya about typhoon signal. Nakadalawang like siya, o 3. Nilagay niya, I love you. Nakadalawampung like siya. Biro mo yun?
Yeah, that's
Ganun
true.
tayo
That's the level.
kababaw.
That's because of all the telenovelas.
I think we need to develop.
Yung palang storm surge, warning nila 2 days ahead yan eh. Saka mga disaster manual, nandun pala mga definition ng storm surge.
Oo nga. But nobody bothers to read that. I think we need to develop more a spirit of nationalism from the younger people up to the older people.
Is this something that you would do for as part of your conferences and forums? But before you answer that, we're going to cut to a short break. You're watching BizNews. We'll be right back.
Mathematician siya eh. Hindi.
Welcome back. So, Chechi, what nationalism? What's the we lack that nationalism.
I don't
in your
think
view.
we have enough of that.
National. We don't have a sense of oneness and nationhood. Unlike the Singaporeans, ang lakas ng nationalism nila. Malaysians, ang lakas ng nationalism nila. The Japanese, ang lakas ng nationalism. In fact, the Chinese, ang lakas ng
US,
the Chinese.
you can see the strength of the US nationalism, whatever they
Saka
are.
their pride in their technology, in their industry, in their values, core values, freedom, democracy, human rights. Dapat mga ganun tayong branding. Kulang talaga tayo ng branding. You know why? One reason, I think, we have a flawed teaching of history. Masyado tayo nakapokus kay Bonifacio sa Rizal and not on the other heroes.
Like who? Like who?
Dami nating mga heroes, Yung mga sa probinsya, ang dami pala nating heroes and our legends, myths and legends. Mga legends natin, yung mga regional heroes, mas magagaling pa kaysa kina Superman eh. Mga legends, mga alamat ng Northern Luzon, Bicol, Visayas, they are very powerful figures. Hindi natin sila dinidevelop, pinoproject. Puro pa marble lang tayo.
But I think we should start thinking as a Filipino more than just thinking of our own company or our own individual self. Because if we do accomplish something, we're proud that our company did it.
That's
but
right.
we never say that, I'm proud because this is a Philippine product. I think we have to start thinking that way.
Na ano lang tayo minsan, we feel we are Filipino pag may nanalong Miss Universe or Miss International, pag naka-knockout si Pacquiao. Ganun. But we have plenty of achievements. The Filipino designed the solar vehicle, di ba?
Yeah.
Dami nating mga achievements, kaya lang hindi yan tinuturo sa classroom. I notice puro ang history natin po rote memory. When did Magellan discover the Philippines? When was the first mass in the Philippines? Maganon. And they are all wrong data. Magellan did not discover the Philippines. The Philippines were the centuries before he came.
So
and we also don't teach our students that we defeated that guy. He was the first foreign invader eh. Buti ngayon, naglagay na sila ng monumento ni Lapu-Lapu sa Luneta. Kasi dati si Rizal. Saka may discrimination pa. Si Rizal has 24-hour honor guard. Si Lapu-Lapu wala. And I think Lapu-Lapu is a better hero than Rizal. Tingnan mo, may 24 hours siyang honor guard, si Rizal. Si Lapu-Lapu mag-isa lang.
Maybe that is
he needs more help kasi nakabahag siya eh. Yung mama, si Rizal, naka-BS pa eh. Hindi siya giniginaw. Diba? Climate change.
Well, that is what we try to inculcate in all the projects that we develop. That while it is supposed to be a commercial endeavor, it always has a social impact and economic impact. And if a project is such, it's going to stay there forever. And therefore, it becomes a relevant part of the country. So it is something that will continue to be there.
Ultimately, a business must help people, not just yourself.
And that's what you're doing here, especially also with the new ones in agro, which is very important for the Philippines.
Because if it is that way, then whatever happens, whatever political environment we have, the industry is going to remain
Saka,
where it is.
Consulting is basically selling the Philippines. Come here, business is good, government is good, the returns are good, the payback is good.
It's not that
and
easy.
the people are good, and the market is good.
But you're also very conscious of having the businesses actually stay here and invest in the Philippines.
Well, congratulations, Cheche. You have tried all these years. If you need someone to help you put up a business, develop a project, promote something, or hold an event, Cecilia Sanchez is the name, Leverage International.
Thank you for that, Tony.
Thank you for being on our show, Chechi.
Thank you.
We watch another episode of BizNews. I'm Elizabeth Lee together with Tony Lopez. See us every Monday at 7 p.m. Have a good night and God bless. Thanks for watching.